We are going to try to do some lofty yarn today. I usually don't have a lot of luck in keeping it thick, but I would love to if I can manage it. One of the ways I can try to accomplish it is by going quickly and hoping that I don't have time to draft it out as much as my brain tells me I need to. I don't know if you caught that trick just now, but I let the tip of the spindle actually twist off a bigger chunk of the roving, because when I get out here, it starts to draft too thin for itself. But if I let the spindle tip kind of bite into the fiber, I can get a thicker pull on it, which is nice. It's nice that when your yarn breaks, the spindle doesn't yank it away. Just kind of lets it float out there in the ether until you're ready to snatch it. Here we go. So with the long draw, the fiber is kind of deciding what it does for itself. And what I mean by that is the thicker the piece is, the less twist it's going to have, because it's easier for the twist to go into the thinner pieces. So the thinner pieces have a lot of twist. The thick pieces have very little twist. So what you get is, if you're careful, you can actually just pull on the fiber and it will even itself out. The thinner pieces won't get any thinner, but the thicker pieces will draft themselves out because they have less twist, so they have more give. The reason I bring that up is because it had just happened on that stretch I did before I started to explain it. I don't know if you saw it, but we'll try to recreate it. there were 2 or 3 big clumps in it, and then when I pulled on the end of the fiber, it actually like evens the yarn out quite a bit more. So like right here, you got a few clumps, and if you pull on them, they will even out while the rest of it stays the same rate. Of course, you're not going to want to do that if you're looking for lumpy, bumpy yarn. But if you're trying to get a more homogeneous yarn, you know, that's a way to do it. See, like this one right here will draft itself out. It looks like magic, but it is just long draw. I like to work with dark wool a lot, but I gotta say there is something very, very beautiful about snowy white wool. You get this wool and it's more of a natural color. It's like maybe a little more tan or a little more yellow, and you put it through the wash and it comes out, it's still looking dark because it's wet, but then when it dries, you're like, who bleached my wool? Because by the time you've washed it and dried it, it becomes this white thing, especially after you've carded it. It becomes this white that you have not seen and kind of find it hard to believe exists in nature. At least to me, the white is so white sometimes that it just amazes me. Whoop. Let's just fold all of that back in. Let's see if we can draft that as we go. Let's get some off of here first. And there we go, it's done. Sorry about the mic there. I had to readjust my earpiece. We'll try to pull draft this again. So we got the clumps in there. Now if we just grab on the line and pull it out, it'll actually draft itself thinner in those parts. It's something though that you don't want to really mess with until you get a mid-sized fiber, because if the fiber's too short, it is easy to kind of pull the smaller places apart without drafting the bigger places, which isn't what you want to do. And then if it's long, it's just going to be hard to pull stuff apart, because even though in the thick places it's not got a lot of twist, those long pieces are going into the thin places that do have twists. So you got to keep that in mind. You're wanting a mid-length staple for your long draw if you want to practice that evening and out like I showed. I do not have a lot of room on this table for my backpack. But hopefully there's enough to get it done. I think that's a Girl Scouts of America backpack, not a Boy Scouts, but a Girl Scouts. I don't know, but I like to buy any kind of military surplus or scout surplus when I find it, because I like the way they're made structurally. If you notice the color of the backpack, a lot of military stuff is in this color, a lot of Boy Scout stuff is in this color, a lot of Girl Scout stuff is in this color. It occurred to me one day that that color is the color of cotton. That all they've done is they've used cotton without bleaching it, and that's why in this jacket. So when they didn't bleach the cotton, this is how it came out, and that's brilliant. I love it. A lot of tents were this color too, but I've always wondered why they decided on this kind of yellow tan or whatever you would call that, and I figured it out. They didn't decide on it, they just didn't change it, which I think is amazing. And you're amazing, and science is amazing. If anyone can tell me what that clip's from, you will be my best friend. Alright, so now it's getting thin again, so I want to do this trick where I let the tip kind of grab my fiber and pull it out, because now it's giving me a thicker base to pull from. I'm holding my mouth open while I card, aren't I? You will have to excuse that. You might want to excuse the sound effects too, but that'll probably happen a little more often If you like the sound effects, just tweet yes walrus. Alright, we need some tip action. Perfect. Our last episode cut out a little early, so I'm not sure if you got to see the whole right-hand, left-hand drafting deal. But somebody asked if you could draft left-handed on spindle wheels, and the answer is yes. And not only can you draft left-handed, but you can switch at any time, left to right, and wind on with either hand. It is ubiquitous. And then you can wind on and switch hands for drafting. It's dynamic. It can happen in real time without an issue. Which is nice because if you start getting tension in the shoulders or something of that nature, it is helpful to be able to switch hands long enough for your circulation to get back. Which hopefully you're not having those kind of problems, but sometimes I want to spin a little longer than my circulatory system wants to keep me supplied with fresh blood, so I have had occasion that I've had to switch hands just so I could continue. And I have to do it a lot less with my feet, but there have been times when my feet I would switch off so that I could rest my ankle or whatnot. That's the beauty of a single treadle, is that you can treadle with either or. We're getting a good quill's worth of yarn out of this take. The last half of this past episode is where we did another quill of this fiber as well, but I taped a half hour and it only caught 10 minutes of it. So you guys only got to see the beginning of that quill, but the nice thing is by the time we're done with this episode, I will actually have 2 plies that I can make this white yarn out of and do another hat, which is nice. Because this is the hat that I was working on last episode. Ba, 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 ba. I hope you guys can still see this. The way I had the camera set up, I'm not sure you can, but hopefully it's not out of We're almost done. That's nice. I really love autumn. It's my favorite time of year, but we kind of got cheated this autumn. It was warm until much too late and just went to freezing cold. We did try to get out quite a bit though and make sure that we enjoyed it. Went to the pumpkin farm a few times, did some hay rides. But as a family, we take a lot of walks, pulling the kids in wagons and such. And I kind of wish there would have been a longer schedule for that to have been pleasant. Like, we'll still do it when it's cold. We'll bundle them up and we'll get bundled up. But it would have been really nice if there were times for the leaves to change slowly and for us to enjoy those walks in the evening. Ooh, that's a thick bunch. But it all just pulled out. I remember how much I hated seeing stuff like that when I was a muggle. When I would watch Rachel Brown draft by essentially like just grabbing on the back of it and yanking at the fiber, and it would just like all even itself out, and I was like, that's not real. That's not something that mere mortals can do. But it is. You'll have to excuse me if this episode or any episode just ends abruptly without me signing off, because I tape these things on remote tape. I record these things on remote, and the problem is sometimes the camera has ran out of battery or for whatever reason stopped recording, 10 minutes in or 20 minutes in. And if I ever just use this footage instead of reshooting, then I'll just trail it off near where it cut off when I think that there's like a good place for me to go out on. But essentially that just means I'm not always going to be at the end of a thought or whatnot. Sometimes I'll be talking about something and just fade to black. Alright, I think this is about it. We'll get this spun up, and that should do it for this go-round. By the way, for any of those of you who don't know, this is how you clean your carders. It will work every little bit of wool down to this edge where you can just pull it off. Alright. It's starting to snow. Nature took offense to the fact that I said that I was surprised it could produce such whites, so now it's going to snow on me. By the way, I know you guys probably are not crazy about the sound this mic makes when it brushes against my beard or against my collar, but I did try shooting a sample video without being mic'd, and the audio was pretty good, except when the wind blew. Believe me, you'll take the beard noise over wind noise any day. That is faux show. And that's it.